Save It for the Blind is sponsored by Kershaw Knives. Kershaw manufactures next-level pocket knives for outdoor enthusiasts. Save It for the Blind is now also being sponsored by Roseville Motorsports. Roseville Motorsports is the greater Sacramento area's premier destination for all your power sports vehicle needs. Stop in today to browse off-road vehicles from leading manufacturers like Polaris, Yamaha, and more. If you guys are enjoying the show, we'd love to hear from you and get your support. Please follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Give us a 5-star rating. Your reviews really help us grow and reach more people. Thank you for being a part of our community. What are you guys doing right now?
We went for a Pukeko hunt,
Yeah.
just kind of like walking along a creek and stuff. But yeah, we just spotted a beautiful axis deer buck. Of course, no rifle.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, good set of antlers on it.
You're just like on somebody's ranch.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Like, it's just dairies essentially all over the place. In our area, there's some sheep ranches too, but a lot of it's dairy cows, and it's like really, really, really hilly. And they've kind of cleared all the trees, and then they plant it in the pasture. Even like the really hilly stuff, they have a tractor that can comb it. Basically, like rototills the dirt up and then plants a grass seed as well at the same time. Pretty wild. Yeah, they have like these big tires that they don't bolt on, but they put on and like turn them a certain way, and it locks them in, so it doesn't tip over the mountain. Yeah. So if you could just think of like really, really, really thick pine forest that they log, and a lot of that stuff's converting back into dairy pasture. But I could see why a lot of people don't necessarily big game hunt a lot, because what they call the bush, it's so thick you couldn't ever see an animal unless you apparently like some of the guys that used to do it, like you're looking for little openings, like where red deer get some sun in their face or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty wild. Like apparently way back in the day, they just like, even like going back to Maori days, like they just lit fires and let the bush burn. But a lot of pine trees here, they're non-native, and
Gotcha.
They're super fast growing.
Yeah, I was going to wonder about them wondering if they needed them to come back, but if they're non-native, they don't need that. But
no.
Yeah. So welcome back to another episode of Save for the Blind. If the voice on the other end of the line sounds familiar, that's because our co-host Jeff Smith is currently on this call in New Zealand. You can't see, but I can see. He is sitting on a hillside somewhere in New Zealand, and he's going to be talking about his first week in New Zealand, and he's got a week to go, and some of the experiences that he's had. He sent me some pictures, and they've been nothing short of spectacular. So kind of want to start off with the flight. You've never been on a flight that long. How was it?
You know what? It wasn't bad. So we left San Francisco at 10 p.m. Friday evening, and we got to New Zealand Sunday at 7 a.m. Of course, there's some time changes in there, but it was like a 13+ hour flight. I don't know. It was weird because it was dark the entire time, even when we landed.
Yeah.
So it went quick. I mean, I watched a couple movies and started the series Dune on HBO, and it went really quick. I think I fell asleep briefly, but pretty much was awake the whole time. Yeah, and then we literally landed 7 a.m. Jeff Hay picked us up, who was out here last year, and we went straight to his house. And we were out in what they call blind, his mai, at 10 a.m.
Oh, that's a while. That's a quick transition.
Yeah, and we literally got set up in the blind. Literally, he's still setting stuff up. And we shoot a black swan. And then a single mallard comes in when we harvested that. And then it was kind of like a rain, like it had rained during the night.
Yeah.
And then it was trying to rain that afternoon. But it was a north wind, right? And that's their hot, muggy, rainy days.
Oh, interesting.
So it was like, yeah, it was trying to rain, and it did, and it was so hot and muggy. Like, I had my Delta wading jacket on and like a long sleeve shirt, and you were like sweating under that. And I was like, man, I overpacked for this trip. And then the very next day, it was really cold. So it was like I guess you could compare it to like hunting in October, kind of in the Northeast zone where it's like it could be really hot or really cold.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like that. And then we were with Jeff Hay for 2 days.
On that hunt, you
Um,
shot multiple black swans. Is that something that's common, or was that kind of out of the ordinary for?
Yeah, it's not like super common, but it's not uncommon. Like the zone that we're in now, down towards Gisborne, you can't shoot any black swans at all. But
Interesting.
where we were at, you could shoot 2 a person. So yeah, the first day we limited out on our black swans, and we shot the New Zealand shoveler that looks like basically it looks like a hybrid of a blue-winged teal and a spoonie, essentially. And that was super rare.
Oh, wow.
And we shot 3 of those. They came in and just came right in. We shot them. And what else did we shoot that day? So we shot gray ducks that day, what they'd call their gray lard, which is a mallard and a gray duck that had been as a hybrid, which actually breeds though. And then our mallard, which most of the mallards would look like early plumed R mallards, but they're like adults.
Interesting.
So like, yeah, so we shot a couple like what they would call like a perfectly nice mallard, but they're much smaller than ours. Some of them have the ring around their neck, the white, but a lot of them don't. But I mean, out of all the ducks we've shot, we've probably shot like 4 or 5 that would be similar plumage to our mallards.
Gotcha.
All the rest are, like these hybrids and weird colors. And yeah, it's like your decoys. If I was here, like all those like early season mallards that you see that people can buy like from Bandit or whoever,
Yeah.
like most of the ducks kind of look like that for the most part. But they're definitely that game farm mallard, and it makes sense now that you've hunted them. Is like you watch them on a pond or something, and they're more kind of upright-ish, and they're very flighty / athletic. Where like our mallards will circle a couple times, and they get that pass where like they're kind of hovering down.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like they just fly around, just like with no rhyme or reason. And we actually had to hit the calls pretty hard. So this is like their 2nd or 3rd week into the season. They only have a couple more weeks to go on this area. So they've been hunted, but like I was talking to my brother, I was like, I really thought that they would be super, super responsive to calls, which they are, but they're not, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it.
But when they come in, do they work well?
Well, it's just so fast. Like they'll be like when they go away, they'll just like go away randomly and not like really following a hand. Like they act like they don't know where to go, and they'll go out like 400 or 500 yards, and then they'll just like kind of come back, and then they look, and then they'll just like go out again, and then when they come, they just come, and they just come straight in. Not necessarily like super gracefully either. Like it's crazy. They come in, but the coolest part of the first day hunt is like the swans. And I should have researched this because I like to call stuff in.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a low end of a speck mixed with like a honker or something. So I tuned my spec call to sound somewhat like it, and there was 3 that were like pretty far away going away to us. And I kind of hit them with a couple notes, and they, not like our swans where they like take a huge bang. They like turned right away and like came right to us, feet down, whiffling into the small pond, necks all crinked up. It was awesome. That part of the hunt was super cool. And then, so we shot limits that first day and literally shot all of the ducks that you could legally harvest, which is pretty rare. And we actually just found out on that hunt, we had lost a bird because the stuff is so thick. Like even when we had a dog, and Jeff Hay went and found it the next day because he saw a hawk where we were hunting, and it was banded, and it was banded like on the other side of the island, which is super, super, super rare. And then I shot a band 2 days later, which is also super rare. So like you're talking in, guys from New Zealand, they're like, I haven't shot a band in ever, or I haven't shot a band in 8 years. So, the running joke in our family is like, of course, Jeff would shoot a band.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that part. So first day you had the swans and some other ducks. What was the second day?
The second day we went back out to Jeff's mai. And
describe what a mai is for like folks.
It's just a blind. I mean, I would consider,
but it's not a pit blind.
No, you cannot shoot out of a pit blind. It's got to be a couple feet out of the ground, which is also weird because you could use electronic calls here. You could bait ducks if you wanted to. I think there's one zone where you can't, and that's where Jeff lives. But all the other zones, like, there's different rules and regulations, but like it's very, very different from what we're used to. Like you could use the electronic calls, and it is a set time every day. So 6:30 to 6:15. And
no matter how dark.
No, and it is dark. Like we were done the one day, but we're walking out and it was like, 5 to 6. It's pitch dark. And we're like, how do you even hunt? To them, like having a new shoot time every day would be like, wow, what a pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was, that part of it was pretty interesting. Super, super dark, but you're shooting small ponds. So kind of go back to like hunting in Alturas and those areas where you're shooting really small cattle ponds, but they're like way smaller. Like, so we shot with Jeff for 2 days in his mai. So back to a mai. Like in the southern, I'm going to say like Arkansas and those places where they have, a big stand-up blind and there's benches in it and a cook station and, a shooting deck with a roof and a bunch of vegetation coming over. All the blinds we hunted with Jeff were like, just like here, right? They're phenomenally brushed and they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So we hunted with Jeff that next day. We shot a couple ducks. There wasn't a whole lot going on. And then we went basically on a big game hunt and ended up shooting some wild pigs on this ranch that was like 10,000 acres. And also, which is weird about that is, I shot my pig in the daytime, but you could use thermals. So like it's a thermal scope on the gun with a silencer. So it was a 300 Win Mag and it kicked like nothing.
Yeah.
And baby, you could see like in the thermal scope, you could see everything and twitching its ears. It records your shot as well, like a shot cam.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So then we shot mine, and then we literally went over the next ridge and we saw a group of pigs that ended up winding us. We like literally got back in the truck. We're like, oh, there's some more on that ridge. And then Colby went up and shot one. And that was within the first 2 days. And then we went back to that same ranch and a guy had a little pond and we shot mallards and Perrys and, this tight little pond. So we're shooting like low base, like 6s or something like that.
Lead.
Yeah. No, that was all on. Yep. You can only shoot lead over a field.
Gotcha. Our hunt program is still accepting applications for spring hunts. Visit calwaterfowl.org to apply today. While you're there, don't miss our membership deal. Purchase a membership and receive a free Realtree sweatshirt while supplies last. You can also apply for hunts, purchase tickets for upcoming events, and show your support for waterfowl conservation. Upcoming events are Jack Waliba Memorial Day at the Track in Arcadia, California, May 31st, Roberts Island Banquet in Stockton, June 4th, Rodeo Crockett Banquet in Crockett, June 5th, and Suisun Marsh Field Day at CWA's Grizzly Ranch, June 7th. Suisun Marsh Field Day will be a fun-filled day that includes youth duck calling, shooting, duck banding, over 20 vendors, a raffle, and much more. The pre-sale for steak lunches ends on May 30th, so please purchase them on the CWA website now. Cost is $40.
So yeah, it was pretty interesting. And then we went down to Rotorua, I believe it's called, and we shot Perry's in the afternoon at like 2. So paradise shell ducks, they all call them Perry's. Oh no! We hunted earlier that morning in a wetland next to the coast, and we shot I think 8 or 9 mallards. That's where we shot the banded mallard.
Mm-hmm.
We shot a couple paradise shell ducks. Then went home, ate lunch, and we went out to, they called their fields paddocks. So this paddock it was a dairy farm, like up on top of this old volcanic ridge, beautiful, beautiful country. Everywhere is green. It's just green grass everywhere. So there was these rolling green hills, and up above it was I forget what they call they call them affluent ponds, which is basically their cow wastewater ponds.
Yeah.
So we set up in this field, and they literally parked the trucks, and I think we already had like 8 or 9 Perrys down by the time our guests started walking up to the field. And the Perrys are like, if you look at the meat, they're grass eating, most of them. So it's like an Aleutian type smell, on the meat. But it's like a mallard. It's bigger than a mallard, but it's more like a goose, but it looks like a duck. And they make a bunch of crazy, like barnacle sounding noises, and they come in like, I've never seen anything really work like that. They come from way, way, way up. No circling. It's just straight down. We're in layout blinds, and like all of our shots were like 10, 15 yards, like literally way too close. And we're using like silhouettes that were used, made 40 years ago.
I was going to say if they have like full bodies or anything.
I think some people do, but yeah, this is all stuff that, people made with their dads and stuff. But we're like using regular layout blinds like what we use, really, really well brushed with grass and all that stuff. And yeah, that was probably one of the funner hunts, just because you could see them way out there, and they gave us a couple calls, so we're calling, and they just lock up and just come straight down, and they start whiffling and stuff like that. That was pretty wild and neat. And then the very next day, we shot a pond. It's called, they call it the Moss Pond. It's small. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's probably 10, 15 yards by maybe 20 yards.
And
it's like in the crest of a couple little tiny hills, and with some big, some trees around it and a big rock formation. And those ducks were way too close. It's stuff like you should be shooting a 410 with.
Yeah.
And those ducks, I mean, they would circle around the mountain. Those ones worked a little bit differently. And then they'd just come straight down, kind of like, like a timber spot, you know. But I mean, they were so close. Like you had to like shoot them coming down, or like try to let them get up and shoot, because they were way too close. Yeah. And we're shooting all in proof cylinder, And that hunt we shot, I think, 6s or 7s, but
that's crazy.
So yeah, Colby and I shot our limits there, and then we went.
What's the limit?
Down to Gisborne.
Like, is it 10 or?
I thought there was 6 for mallards. Where we're at Jeff's, I think it was 8, and like where we're at now, I think you could shoot 6, but no swans. And then we're going to the South Island on Sunday.
Okay, so you're still on the same island. Right. You haven't even left the North Island yet.
No. Yeah. So down there, it's like in places it's 15 to like 25, in different areas. And that's where apparently all the ducks are. So when people are like, where else are you guys going? We're like, oh, the South Island. That would be like our Sacramento Valley-ish.
They're right? Like, oh, you're going to see all the birds, like.
Yeah, but it's different. I mean, I compare it a lot to the Northeast, because like you just don't see a lot of birds, but then you'll go to a cattle pond and there might be 50 over there. But the Perrys, like, they'll just be like 2 sitting on a fence post, like close to town, and those are the older birds, the breeding ones, and then there'll just be 2 over here in a paddock and whatnot. But Yeah, and then we went to another ranch super high up in the high country. Again, another 10,000 plus acres, and we went deer hunting, and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scenery. Great hosts. They call their ranches stations. So that station that we hunted, we basically went up to this top where they didn't clear all of the forest up at this ridge. Basically, they hunt deer too, and they eat it. They shoot a deer every couple weeks.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so we got up there and we're like, oh, there's like wild goats running around.
Interesting.
And they take the cattle dogs up there and like will round them all up once a year and then take them to market and sell them.
Huh.
Yeah, but like little goats everywhere. And so anyways, we get up on this ridge and don't see anything, and then we go to the next ridge and we're like, oh, there's 2 fallow deer, and oh, there's 2 red deer, which is a red stag, and there's some axis deer over there. And the red deer are kind of on a place where we can get to and them not see us. And so Colby and I went down, and I literally we went up this finger ridge, and I popped over the ridge on my belly, and they were out like 50 yards.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so put it right behind the shoulder and just one shot, one kill real quick. And then we gutted it, did all that stuff, and went back to the ranch and put it in a chili box. And
nice.
Yeah.
That's wild. And today you're walking a creek chasing something that resembles our coot.
Yeah, they call them pukekos, and they're wild because they have like this big shield on the top of their head. But no one likes them because they like the big hay bales for silage and all that. They like rip all that stuff up. They eat ducklings and they about eat everything, but they're like a little pack where they hunt as a pack, and you'll see them like hunting down a slough or creek or whatever. But yeah, it's like a coot, but bigger and more aggressive, obviously. So yeah.
Do you just flush them, or you shoot them on the water, or how's it work?
If you can flush them, you can't really get close to them. So you really have to like kind of like pheasant hunting, but they could see you, right? So
that's strange.
Yeah, and we shot a couple earlier with Jeff, and we're going hunting for paradise shell ducks this afternoon. So they've been kind of just like us, they scout some fields, they leave, don't know where they're going, talk to everyone else in town. So that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. Is just there was a bunch here, and then they left for some reason. They're not in the cornfields, but they're starting to go back into one of the fields they've been looking at yesterday afternoon. So we're going to go do that in about 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh, nice. What's been your favorite part so far for the first half?
Hunting wise, I think the shell ducks, just because it's like goose hunting, but I mean they just work so well and they decoy so great. But no, I mean other than meeting all the people and hearing their stories and their lifestyle, and they're asking us the same questions and learning all about their family. That part's been awesome. Scenery is beautiful. The bush is the bush, but other than that, it's just miles and miles of on end of just rolling hills and dairy towns. It's kind of like small town America, but where their small towns are still pretty much thriving for the most part. And for what we've seen is like everyone takes care of their lawns, very clean. But again, there's only 6 million people, and it's about the same size as California between the North Island and the South Island. So imagine California with 6 million people on it. It's kind of back in the day like that. So
has there been anything that surprised you, like culture wise or driving rules, laws that you had no clue about, or hunting rules?
Well, the driving. So the driving on the different sides of the roads, right? But like everyone has a what do they call it? Utes, and they're like their bigger trucks would be like a Ford Ranger. But like the very first day we were there, we were getting a pie at a cafe, which is a big thing, right? Which they're delicious. And just like, hey, don't get hit by a car, like jokingly. And I literally almost got hit by a car-ish because I was looking the wrong way for oncoming traffic. So I was crossing the road looking right, for a car, and coming left, and like literally someone stopped in the road. He's like, "See," I was like, we were laughing. I was like, "Yeah, I mean, literally, that one's been hard. Still haven't got used to that. Like, especially on corners when you see a car coming, you're like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
No, I mean, other than that, I mean, the beer here has less alcohol in it, which I found interesting. Yeah. Culturally, lots of stews and things like that. Tea is, you could either have tea or coffee, but not coffee like ours. It's all instant tea, instant coffee. You pour in hot water and shake it up. So it doesn't have a ton of taste. Every meal we've had, there's been a dessert,
It's always good.
So yeah. But I had some scrumpets, and what else do we have? Bunch of stuff that we never see in the States, and types of drinks and all that. Well, it's funny because like you go into a gas station, there was Sour Patch Kids, and it looks like our branding is from the same company, but the kids are different. They don't look like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it's like a little bit different stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of Coca-Cola products. Yeah, but it's just different. You just know that you're not in the U.S.
Yeah, it's funny, how the world works. We talked about it. It's like you traveled, kind of just went through one night, and then all of a sudden you're in a place where you could hunt ducks in the winter. And now I'm sitting here in California talking to you, and you're a day ahead of me, or a day behind me, day ahead of me. It's strange.
It's Saturday.
Yeah, so you're a day ahead.
Right.
Yeah. We haven't even had that time happen yet.
I know. So that part's pretty nuts. Just trying to think what else. I mean, the first couple hosts we have, I mean, they're like you and I. They're diehard duck hunters. They like their blinds brushed, their gear, their duck call collectors, all of that stuff. I would say just like in the U.S., that's 10% of the hunters. The rest are shooters or people that don't hunt a lot, but they are super hardcore. Hunt just like us, and hey, I put my mojo here because of this and Y and X, Y, and Z. We're gonna set the decoys over here. So that part of it's been cool. But there's no migration here. It's just the birds that are here, and they move a little bit but for the most part, they're just local birds all the time. They don't really migrate or go to the next valley. Like the bird Colby shot, it was so rare because it did fly a very, very long ways, and it was banded 3 years ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like a Haydell. So we're at a sporting goods store, like a Haydell's DR85.
Yeah.
Right. It's like $100 here.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
You could have brought a whole duffel bag full, pawned them off for $20.
I know. So like even so like we went to a sporting goods store today, and G&H has their shoveler from this country, but for 2 decoys, was $65 or something.
Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, even with the exchange rate, it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
So
gives you hard, new appreciation for what we spend.
I know. It's all this stuff's very expensive over here.
It's got to get there somehow. Just costs money to get there.
Yeah. But I mean, like, there's a lot of shotgun shells that we've never heard of. Like Winchester Experts are new here.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's just different. We did go to a what they would have like a waterfowlers museum, and it's just a guy. His name's Tim. I think he's world renowned, like sporting good or sport shooting coach. And he's got this huge barn filled of shotgun shells, calls, stuff all around the world, and hand decoys from here. Just awesome stuff. Like apparently he's been offered like 7 figures for it, and he turned it down. It's just it'd be like someone's super nice, huge collection in the States. So it was neat to see that. There was a decoy from 1915. Believe this, has a jerk cord on it. It like splashes water and the wings rotated, but you would, yeah. And there's only 2 that they know of, and he has one of them. And we met the other guy that has the other one. But you would shoot a duck, and you would cut the wing off, and you'd put the wing on the rod, and it would like turn when you would pull it. And that's kind of what we're laughing at. I was like, all this stuff is not new. Like, people have been doing that. There was a Thule seat someone made out of like cane and like some weaving, that was probably 100 years old in there, so it's just kind of interesting. People are resourceful, but it's all that waterfowler is kind of that same mentality, same everything, right?
Yeah.
It's like just like in the States, but a lot of their history wasn't saved.
Hmm.
And so they're a little bit behind on that, where I think we have more people that were interested in the calls. Like he's getting a lot of people like, hey, this was my grandpa's stuff. Do you want it for free, essentially? And it's like all, one-on-one stuff, or this, my grandpa made these with this guy. But yeah, that part was pretty cool. Can't really think of anything else at this point, but yeah, we are going to the South Island, which
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm not gonna hold you much longer because I know you got to hunt. But what is the thing that you're most looking forward to in this next week, the last week that you have? I know you probably got some cool stuff lined up.
Yeah, so we're gonna chase Perry's again. They're gonna try to do a Canada goose hunt, but I think the scenery, because that's more. It's colder there. There's snow in the peaks. You're in these big valleys. It's not necessarily like dairyland and trees, which obviously there is there, but it's more like you might be shooting a pond and there's a huge mountain range in the background with snow on it. More rivers, things like that. So more water in general. So definitely looking for that. Yeah, but
Any other
it's
big
kind of
game
changing.
hunts?
They've got as of right now, no. But they've gotten a lot of rain on the South Island, so a lot of the areas that they usually hunt, I think, are a little flooded. So it's kind of TBD right now in terms of what the game plan is. It's kind of been changing day by day for now, but yeah, definitely excited to do that. And if duck hunting's slow or whatever, I'll talk to the other hosts of we're all about if we can do a day or two and get after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So,
well, I won't hold you any longer. I know when you get back, we're going to have a part 2 to this where we can dive a little bit more in depth about your trip in the second half. So I appreciate you getting on the phone all the way across the world. And we will see you back here in a week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously miss home, miss the kids and everyone. And hopefully I got some stories to tell in our next episode.
All right. Sounds good. We'll shoot straight today.
Thanks, man.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Save It for the Blind podcast. You can find our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.